At some point in time, you have to go inside and understand how your job is complicit with the larger arc or the larger project that the current administration is trying to carry out vis-a-vis the nation state. I'm Antoine Michael, and this is The Breakdown. All right, by now, many of you have seen the video here. If you have not, the information of the creator is located in the video, so you can check it out on TikTok in its entirety. Essentially, the context is that an attorney received a call from his client. He goes over to his client's house. He gets there, and the attorney says that these are agents on the behalf of Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Even though they are in plain clothes, the attorney steps out of the car, asks them to identify themselves. The black man there says that he is with HSI, or Homeland Security Investigations, and that they are there to do a welfare check on his client. And as this process goes on, then he says, okay, well, we also need to speak to the sponsor of this person. And then the attorney starts asking some probing questions. And then, of course, eventually these folks retreat because an attorney is in place asking, of course, the proper questions, and obviously makes them uncomfortable. And what becomes very clear in the process of this, because what the attorney says is, hey, my client is in the middle of a judicial process that will afford them some type of protection, so you actually should not be here, okay? And so what is immediately obvious is that HSI is trying to disrupt some type of judicial process, and they have been caught red-handed. And actually, in the process of making this video, the HSI representative here actually says, are you recording? And the attorney says, yes, I am. So there is that, and then, of course, they eventually leave. Listen, if you've ever done a thought exercise with yourself and have thought, what would I do at some historically significant moment? What would I be doing? Whether it be civil rights, Black Power, the Civil War, pick your historical moment. You are now in that moment. You are now in that moment. One of the questions that I get from students quite often is, how do we create change? How do we, make things go in a different way? And really, oftentimes as folks, we think it is these big, bright, ideas. And not that there's anything wrong with these big umbrella ideas, but what I want to suggest to everyone is that it is in the small, minute details of everyday living that change is made. As a supervisor that is deciding to go to someone's house, right, representing HSI, he could have made the decision that, hey, I see that a judicial process is in place here. I am not going to intervene here. That is a decision that he could have made. Again, it is the small decisions. Also, what one chooses to do for a living. We are now at a juncture in our contemporary context to where people are saying, well, I'm just doing my job. Do you know how many instances throughout history has been people just saying, I just did my job? We have seen it in Germany. We have seen it during the slave trade. We have seen it during the Inquisitions. We have seen it during what took place with Native Americans, that people were just doing their jobs. But at some point in time, you have to go inside and understand how your job is complicit with the larger arc or the larger project that the current administration is trying to carry out vis-a-vis the nation state. And what does it mean for these folks who are in just plain clothes representing the nation state on behalf of HSI, for their children and their children's children and their nieces and their nephews and their cousin and whomever else to see this video one day in a history class or in a history book and say, yes, that's my aunt. Yes, that's my uncle. Yes, that's my grandparent. Yes, that's my parent who was doing these harmful acts on behalf of the government. That now is the time to build up a type of consciousness in what it is we are doing and why we are doing it. That when you lay your head on your pillow at night, there should be some type of peace within oneself with what one is doing. And now I'm not absent of the fact that we have different politics, different political approaches, different political beliefs. But at the same time, What I'm saying is, what one chooses to do in this moment in time, it is critical that one day we will look back on this administration and someone will ask you, what did you do? What did you do to make a difference? How do you contribute to change in the moment? And what does it mean for this particular black gentleman with HSI to say, oh, yeah, I was going around to people's houses arresting them. You know, it was just my job. I had to do that in order to put a roof over the head. Take that skill set and place it elsewhere. That one's profession is also representative of one's persona. Down to even being a police officer, that's a decision. Working in this particular context is a decision. Going to this person's house is a decision. And while this isn't necessarily a news story in and of itself, what I want to suggest is that this is pattern and practice of what is happening around the United States right now. And that somehow, some way, we have to have a greater consciousness about what it is we do to survive in a capitalist society. That it cannot be, I am going to impact and terrify someone just so that I can pay this bill, that bill, and the other. That cannot be the particular case. That we have to do better here. There has to be a type of consciousness. What are you doing in this moment that will make a difference? What are you doing to raise consciousness? Who are you having these critical conversations with? And listen, and the even more reason why this is frightening is that because these folks are plain clothes. And in this video, when you watch it in its entirety, the attorney shows up with either his junior partner, a paralegal, someone there, and the HSI goes, oh, we're looking for her. And the attorney goes, no, you're not. That's my partner. Who are you really looking for? So you are racially profiling in real time on camera. Do better. We have to make better decisions in this moment, while at the same time also being cognitively aware of what's happening around us, because this has created a type of paranoia around everyone, because these folks are plain clothes, and clearly the HSI officer mistakes a junior partner for who it is he's looking for. He didn't even bother getting a picture of the person that he's looking for. So what does it mean to be out and about as a non-white person, handling your business, doing whatever, and then next thing you know, folks who are dressed like just a regular casual Saturday morning are following you in an attempt to arrest you? The type of danger that rolls out, the type of paranoia that puts in our communities is unreal. And I don't know what it means to look my students in the face, to have to look family members in the face, my close friends in the face, and say, yeah, I'm working on the behalf of a harmful administration. What I'm necessarily saying is that in this hour, in this moment, we have to make better decisions, and that the road to change begins with the small decisions. Just imagine if this brother would have said, I see that a court order is in process, or some type of judicial process here. We're not going to do that. We're actually going to do this better. Instead of, oh, I'm just following orders. It's not me. I'm just following orders. Same thing with Kristi Noem going down to El Salvador and Mexico and all these other different kind of places. It's not me. I'm just following orders and getting the trash off the streets. One day, I'm not saying it's going to be tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to be next year, but somewhere down the line, all of these videos will be accumulated and someone will have to give an account. Make sure you're on the right side of history. This has been The Breakdown. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.